Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 42 of the PTFooty podcast. I'm your host, Peter, and I'm joined by everybody this time. Sam's around.
Your favorite member. Hello.
Zach.
Your favorite American member. What's up?
Oh! Shade! Very shade, Kevin.
Did you just introduce me? I didn't hear you.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Because
Your favorite.
Shade, Kevin.
Your
Batista.
favorite Batista and everybody else's favorite Batista. So, how's everybody doing? It's good to be back.
All right, this is going to be a good one. It's about to be a lot of fireworks, so.
Bet your ass.
Sam, try and get this thing, under control. Because I'm giving you the control now.
I'm the special guest referee.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I want to start off the podcast just to give a shout out to Still and Shab. Both games were quite interesting the past 2 days. I don't know if you guys saw both, but yesterday's was especially very good. So shout out to them, even though they didn't make the final. But let's get on with the show. Let's start off with Sporting and a game that you didn't watch, Sam.
The first of a long time and hopefully the last that I don't watch.
You couldn't watch it?
Nah, unfortunately not.
That sucks. But well, me and Kevin did, so let's just get on with the lineup real quick.
I saw the highlights. Sorry to interrupt. Just no.
Yes, yeah, I know. So Rui Patricio's in goals, Keloto, Coates, Ruben Smith, and Zigo across the back. William, Bruno Cesar, Gelson, Brian Ruiz, Alan Ruiz, and Bas Dost. Sam, I was just gonna ask you this: is this the lineup that you expect to see every week from now on?
Hopefully.
Until Adrian Silva gets back.
Yeah, actually, I like that lineup, and it's like I said before. George Jesus needs to pick one lineup and stick with it. And speaking of Adrian, should be back in the coming weeks, so it's a good thing.
Kevin, what did you think of the game? I was kind of surprised that Estoril got the goal, but they couldn't hold on for long.
Wait, what game are you talking about? Sporting?
Yeah.
Why did you say
Well,
Estoril?
let's say I meant Tarouca, obviously.
Okay, you threw me off.
They both have the same color kits. I'm gonna go with that. The kids got me confused.
Well, the way that the game was going, Sporting didn't deserve to go down. It was kind of even when it first started, and then Aroca got that one chance and they scored. But after that, Sporting were all over them, and it would have been a huge injustice if Sporting didn't score any goals. Never mind not win the game. So the first half was good for Sporting. Second half, it was a completely different game. Sporting took the foot off the gas and allowed Aroca to play their game. And unfortunately for Aroca, they couldn't get the second goal and get a draw at least. But it was a game of two completely different halves.
It was funny because Sporting was pressing so much, and they finally get their goal, and you're getting out their first goal, and I'm like tweeting you like, dude, they just scored again. It was that type of game, right? Because they were really pressing after conceding.
They were, and just got to make a point. I think that there was a penalty on Gelson just before the Aroca goal. The referee didn't call it. I don't know why. To me, it was a penalty, but whatever. It doesn't really matter because they won, but it does matter because it's another call gone against another club, regardless of who they are.
Fair enough. Sam, from the highlights that you watched, what was the feeling that you got of the game?
Like Kevin said, and this is from the stats as well, it didn't look like we deserved to go down, but thankfully the attacking presence of the team really kicked in. Bas Dost, I hear, didn't have a great game, but Alan Ruiz stepped up, and so did Gelson. So it's nice to see.
And I think that's like really pretty much it. Sporting cut the deficit. Is the dream still alive, Sam?
The small dream is still alive.
All right, fair enough. But all right, let's get on to the nitty gritty. First, we're gonna get these two games out of the way. So I'm gonna talk Benfica Estoril.
Whoa!
We'll get
just one more thing. That apparently Bruno de Carvalho said there was a bid for William Carvalho of 30 million, and he said that he'd send a pair of William Carvalho's boots without the studs for 30 million. So there we go.
He's lucky to get 30 million for him.
Take 30 million and run.
Exactly. I think everybody can agree on that one. But was that it? Did you
that
like
was it.
interrupting me?
I love interrupting you.
Damn,
But that's why I'm here.
so much saltiness.
Yeah, get used to it because this one's gonna be full of it.
Yeah.
uh,
The Peterson Fonseca fight is too good.
I don't know about that. I think Peter and Kevin kind of gets the edge on that one.
Yeah.
Always.
All right.
It's only going to get better.
Oh yeah, for sure. Imagine if episode number 50 is when Benfica is champion, huh? How about that? That'd be a good way to celebrate.
Yeah, you wish. Listen, I just want to give. I want to give a fair warning to everybody listening. There might be a couple of swears here and there coming up because I'm ready for this.
Oh, me too. Calm down, though. I'm gonna try to be normal, okay? So just calm
I'm
down.
not.
Oh Jesus Christ! All right, but let's get up to the Benfica Estoril game. They obviously played today. It ended up as a 3-3 draw, 5-4 on aggregate. Estoril were one goal away from going to the Taça Portugal final. Carrillo, Zivkovic, and Jonas scored for Benfica. It was a whole completely different lineup with Júlio César in goal, André Almeida, Lisandro Lindelof, Grimaldo, Samaris, Filipe Augusto, Carrillo, Serbi, Zivkovic, and Rafa. So obviously you're playing with four wingers and no strikers. It's always going to hurt you. Benfica were playing like this game was in control. They were, they thought that the leg was done, but Estoril managed to get one goal, and then Benfica had to press on, but they scored like a minute later thanks to Luis Ribeiro's mistake. I can see why he didn't stay at Sporting. And then, like straight out of kickoff, André Almeida decides to pass the ball straight into a Estoril player, and just like that, it's 2-1. So Benfica's
9 seconds from the second half kicking off.
Yep. And Benfica got to press on, and they do. And Carrillo has a great ball that hits the bar. Servi and Zivkovic both hit the goalkeeper. Yeah, they hit the goalkeeper. Basically, they could have shot everywhere, but to the keeper. But Zivkovic scored a worldie, and if you guys haven't watched that, you should. By the way, Stril's first goal is also amazing. But Benfica's like it's 2-2, so they're in control again. They calming down. Jonas comes in, makes it 3-2. You're like, okay, this leg's done. And just out of nowhere, another Lisandro mistake cost Benfica, and it's 3-3, and still pressed on, but Benfica managed to get the win. If I had to point a couple of things out, is that André Almeida is nowhere near Nelson Smith level. Even despite how bad Nelson Smith played against Porto, he's still way better than André Almeida. Lisandro is not good, people. I never liked him, and I never will.
In all fairness, Lisandro Lopez, yeah,
I heard.
He made a clutch tackle at the end of the game to stop Estoril from scoring. If you saw it,
expected from him. Yeah, but that's the type of stuff I expect from him.
It's still a great tackle, even though he did have a bad game. He still saved you.
He gave him the third goal. He literally headed the ball straight into the Estoril player. I mean, come on. But
I'm just saying.
But I mean, he's good for like 5 games, but that's it. Filipe Augusto came off injured. I don't know what happened. We'll see. But Pizzi played, and he was terrible as well. I liked Carrillo. Carrillo's game was another one of those quiet games where if you look at the game, you're like, oh, he didn't really do much. But when you think that he got a goal, almost got an assist, and almost scored a wonderful goal, it's something. And Zivkovic, with a great goal. Rafa, when he's playing like he was against Porto and against Estoril, he's a way better player. And I think he needs to, get given the space that he had. But that's basically it. I mean, Rui Vitória said that the team is incredibly difficult to beat if they play like they played Porto. Well, they didn't. And it almost cost them the Taça final. But they're there, so that's all that matters. But really, shout out to Chaves and Stril, they both had unbelievable games.
I'll say terrible game.
I know. I was gonna say terrific, but I was like, yeah.
Don't want to be
But
too nice.
Exactly. No, they had great games, and I mean, if you guys saw the Savage game, it came out to the penalty that they missed, and so they were 2-0 down, and they managed to score 3 goals. Then
I saw the Zivkovic goal, by the way. It was it reminded me of Robben, but just from like a longer range.
The one against Arsenal.
Oh god.
The one against like every team, he always does that.
Fair enough. At first, I thought it took a deflection, but then I saw it again. I was just like, "Wow, that is a very good goal."
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah.
But that's pretty much it. Although their first goal, if you guys haven't watched it, do check it out because it's also
Another
a hell of a goal. Yeah, it's great. I was like, holy hell, that went in. That was a really good goal.
Off the post as well. Good finish.
Yeah, which makes it so much better.
Yeah.
But all right, I digress. We're gonna move on to the Classico now, the big one that I assume everybody watched.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, there we go. That's all I wanted. So
I covered, by the way. Just saying. Sorry, carry on.
Indeed, a great job covering. Thank you, Sam.
Oh, stop!
You,
Too kind.
Sam.
Oh,
But screw you for
both are too
interrupting me.
kind. You're welcome. Like I said, it's why I'm here.
All right, but 1-1. John scored with a penalty, but he finally scored against one of the quote unquote big teams, which is good for him. And
Quote, unquote.
and Maxi, a few minutes into the second half, scored and made it 1-1, and that's how the game finished. I'm going to give you guys the lineups, and then we're going to talk about the game. Benfica's lineup is the usual, what you would expect, with Ederson in goal, Semedo, Luizão, Lindelof, and Eliseu across the back, with Samaris and Pizzi in the midfield, Sabio and Rafa out wide. That was a little bit of a surprise, Rafa starting, and Jonas and Mitroglou. As for Porto, Casillas in goal, Maxi, Felipe, Marcano, and Alex Telles, Danilo, Oliver, and Andre, Corona, Tiquinho, Soares, and Brahimi. And Kevin, I'm just going to start with you, just on this lineup. Just tell me about the lineup. Were you surprised to see a 4-3-3?
Yes, I was. I honestly thought he was going to go with a 4-4-2. If anybody did listen to Brian's podcast last week on Thursday, I was a special guest on the second episode, by the way. Check that out. He has a good podcast. Anyway, I said that they should line up with the 4-4-2 unless they want to throw a curveball and go with a 4-3-3. And that's what he did. Nuno threw a curveball and went with the 4-3-3. I personally didn't like it. I would have preferred the 4-4-2. But, we had a game plan, and it ended up working out. So...
Why did you want the 4-4-2?
Because it's what we usually play. I mean, I honestly think if we played with a 4-4-2 instead of a 4-3-3, which when we do it with Nuno's style of the 4-3-3, we tend to play a little bit more defensively instead of more attacking. With the 4-4-2, we are more attacking. The midfield is a bit more secure. We have 2 great strikers. It would have been more difficult for Luizão the Snail to catch up to, either Tiquinho or André Silva. Honestly, Benfica's right back, Nelson Semedo. Every time I hear Nelson Semedo, it sounds like Nelson Smith. Anyway, he saved Benfica from a Tiquinho goal. So,
and
I mean,
Ederson
he was
as well. Got to credit Ederson as well.
No, I got to credit Semedo for that because he's the one that made Tiquinho cut back. Because if he didn't cut back, he's scoring. He should have actually shot it from outside the box, but now I'm drifting away from the formation and what you asked me. So let's carry on.
Yeah. So first of all, I want to start with the neutral. So by the way, both of you guessed that it was going to be a draw. I don't remember if Zach said 1, but he did say that it was going to be a draw. And Sam, you predicted,
Me?
yeah, and
Yeah, I said it was going to be a draw.
And Sam predicted 1-1 draw. But Sam, I'm going to start with you. And what did you think of the game? I heard that you liked covering.
Oh yeah, it was an entertaining game, I thought, and honestly, I've been more nervous for that game than some of the sporting games this season. So I was on the edge of my seat every single time there was a shot on target. But yeah, a very good game, like I said before. I think the result was fair for both teams, even though I know some people here disagree, but we'll get on to that. Jonas, again, the penalty. I agree it was a penalty no matter how soft it was. There was contact, so, penalty was rightfully given. And Porto's goal, which I've had a mind blank, can't remember who scored.
Maxi?
Oh, Maxi Pereira off the volley. Goes to puts his hand to his ear.
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
Benfica fans to hear. Not
Beautiful.
gonna lie, my personal favourite moment of the match.
What a surprise. By the way, Carl Schuster, how did you do?
What?
How'd the ref do?
Oh, he 10 out of 10 for me. Didn't make a single mistake in that game, I must say.
Okay. And Zach, you watched the game, so what did you think of it?
I didn't think it was that impressive from either side. I thought that both goalkeepers were phenomenal. Anderson, who I'd say actually who's goalkeeper in the league. I mean, you could go with Anderson, but Casillas has actually been well, and I mean, love him or hate him, with a bit of a unruly celebration as well. So I'm not sure if I would say that any attacker really impressed me, but Diaz was man of the match like he was against Sporting, like he is in a lot of big games, honestly. I think he's one of the best big game players in the league. And even at this old age, you got to give him credit.
I agree.
Does anybody want to agree that Suarez was absolutely useless in this game?
Yeah. Say.
I'd probably. I mean, he did a good run like he always does, but Ederson stopped him. So, but I think Ederson's a better player than Tiquinho, to be fair.
So Kevin, I'm gonna give you the floor. No, you can go ahead and talk.
Oh God.
Jesus Christ, where do I even start?
This is gonna be interesting. Start with the beginning, eh? That's
yeah. Let me just start with the game first, and I'll get into all the bullshit after.
Okay,
all right.
Calm down. First of
all right.
Anything that you want to talk about referees or whatever, leave that out, and then I'll ask you separately. Okay, so
that's what I just said. That's what I just said. I'm going to talk about the game and then talk about the bull crap. I'm going to try to hold myself back and bite my tongue. All right.
Okay,
so,
calm down.
All right. So Benfica did start the game off very well. They did play better than Porto. Honestly, the whole game basically. There was a little bit of the first half that Porto did play better than Benfica. The penalty, it is a clear penalty. You can't really argue with it. Although there were some theatrics. I mean, I don't know if we can all agree. I don't think Benfica fans will agree, but to me,
no,
it was more theatrics than anything.
It's a straight up penalty anyway.
Okay, I just said that. So
yeah, no, I'm saying I agree with you. There were theatrics, but I mean, if you don't call that a penalty, I don't know what will.
Right. So obviously Sam saw it. Zach, did you see the game by any chance?
Yeah.
The Porto game?
Saturday's game.
Yeah.
He did.
He did. All right. I didn't know if he saw it. Do you think that there was a bit of theatrics in that? I know Sam thinks that there was, but I never got that from you. Like, do you think, it's a penalty. Philippe gets to him first, but then Jonas kicks the back of his leg and flips over.
I think that Jonas is Brazilian, so I think Brazilians do kind of have. I mean, no disrespect, but I mean, we sort of see that. And even that Neymar has toned it down. I think we usually see guys like him and other Brazilians flopping. But I personally thought it was a penalty, but I do think that he did go a little overboard. But at the same time, if he doesn't go overboard, I'm not sure that Benfica get the call, and I'm not sure if Benfica. So I mean, you can see why, you can see why why he flopped. I think, but
Mhm.
I mean, I would expect that from Jonas. Honestly, I think I would also expect that from Andre Silva. To be fair,
I knew that was coming.
I don't think. No, I don't think either side is necessarily that neither side are angels when it comes to flopping. But yeah, Jonas, I think you could reputation than Andre Silva despite his heritage, but yeah, I think it was a little bit suspect.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. But there you go. It was a foul. We can argue on that. So move
yes,
on.
we can all agree, but a little
Yeah.
theatrical, but yeah, we can all agree. All right, so fast forward into the middle of the first half, halfway through the first half, Porto did come out of their shell a little bit. They were attacking more. Um, they didn't have that many chances, a couple of chances, but nothing really that threatening. Going into the second half, we started the half off very well. Um, Porto got the goal, a nice goal at that. I know Benfica fans are saying it should be not counted as a goal, but we'll get into that. Um, and honestly, I mean, it's a fair result. I mean, if anything, if somebody should have won the game, it should have been Benfica, honestly. If it wasn't for Casillas with those huge saves, I mean, out of this world. Like, when's the last time you've seen saves like that? I mean,
Against Sporting.
Yeah.
yeah, but
Okay. No
how long
need.
ago was that? Uh, I mean,
Couple months
it was
ago.
it wasn't that long ago, but
I know. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
he shows up. I wasn't meaning Casillas. I'm just saying in general. But I mean, he shows up in these games, and it seems to be like against Benfica last year. He turned away a Mike own goal.
No, it was Sidozi, man. But
Was it Shidozi? I thought it was
yeah.
Mike on. All right.
Nah,
Well, it doesn't
Sidozi.
really matter. It was a phenomenal save, and once again, phenomenal. I couldn't believe it when I saw Jonas shooting the
Yeah,
ball.
I thought it was a goal.
I was even Jonas thought he was going to score. He started running away like he was going to celebrate, and then when he saved it, I screamed at the top of my lungs. Like
Yeah.
I don't even remember what the hell I said, but I was screaming at the top of my lungs. So he was the key to that match, and he saved us a very important point. And I'm very happy. I'm not very happy with the result, but actually I am.
Okay.
I'm
I
very
was. I
happy with
was.
the
Listen.
result.
Listen. Can I just ask you something? And
Yeah.
because it seems to be something that differs from Portista to Portista. Are you happy with the way that you approached the game? That it seemed like you were always content with the draw, and you never really seeked out a second goal. And I mean, this has been happening for a while now. If you think back to Lopetegui as well, when you guys were a couple points behind and you never really pressed, and again the same happened in this game. Are you happy with this type of approach, or were you expecting for to at least put on a different level of pressure?
Honestly, I thought they were going to go to Delusion, play a really good game like they normally do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, going into this game, like I said it, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Leaving with a draw, I wouldn't mind. Leaving with a loss would be killer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm content. I mean, a lot of Benfica fans don't agree with me, and they're mad at me because I say, and I was celebrating the draw, but
It goes both ways.
you guys celebrate exactly, and you guys celebrated, and I can see why you celebrated a 92nd minute goal like a victory.
Yeah.
To me, it's not a
But it
victory,
can't
but
feel,
it's
yeah,
good enough.
it can't feel like a victory. But the question really is, are you annoyed at Nunu for not trying enough? Because it looked
Yeah,
like the team wasn't, you know.
yeah, he was trying to play it safe, and it
Yeah,
backfired with the penalty, which Casillas almost did save, and I knew he was going to go down the middle, but he,
Elvis.
he, he was so close. Had he dove a little bit late, he probably would have saved it with his
Hmm.
foot. But I mean, it's a penalty. There's
Yeah.
not much you could do. But anything else that he could have controlled, he denied everything.
Yeah. Hmm.
So he was a beast.
Okay. Well, now I'll try and get on to my opinion of the game. And I was surprised to see straight up Benfica try and dominate the game because that's what they did. They were pressing Porto a lot. They got the goal. I don't want to say deservingly so because we were only like 10 minutes in, but they were pressing for it, and then Porto started evening out. They started playing their own style game. Oliver Torres was dominating the midfield. But Benfica was consenting to Porto dominating. And the game ended basically at halftime with no chances for Porto. I mean, I know they had a couple of long shots, but none of them were really threatening. And then the second half starts. My first reaction is like, "Holy hell, we're gonna concede!" Because it looked like the midfield was completely lost. They were leaving out too much space, and with what like Rui Vitória said, the only chance that Porto had inside the box, they scored, and I think that was because a lack of intensity that the team, didn't have. The team didn't lack the intensity in the beginning of the second half, and that's what allowed Porto to get the goal. But after that, I mean, I can't really blame anyone on the team. I thought they had a tremendous game, and Benfica had so many chances, and Casillas was to blame on this draw because he was really the one that stopped everything from going in. I do want to say that I'm a bit surprised that Mitroglou and Suarez, the type of mobile strikers, not okay, the not so mobile strikers, the more aerial type of strikers didn't have a good game.
Yeah.
I thought Rafa had a tremendous game, because Jonas was going into the wings, and so Rafa could be in the middle and try those long passes, the type of stuff that he likes. And I mean, besides Nelson Smith having a poor game, I think everybody else really stepped up. I also want to shout out to Nuno that he said something that he practices. It's that play that almost got him the goal. I mean, it's his exact replica of the one that they scored against Sporting. So I mean, that shows you something. I'm sorry, Sam. It's not my fault. Like,
Yeah, I know it's not your quote. But
but in the end, there's only one team that wanted to win and play to win, and that was Benfica. And I mean,
ooh.
I am very salty.
Ouch.
I'm very salty, like Kevin was in the first game, because if in the first game if there was only one team that wanted to win, it was Porto. And in this one is exactly the same thing. I mean, you could see in the stats, you could see it in the game. Sam says it's a fair result. I honestly think that if it wasn't for Casillas, we'd be talking differently. Because if you compare the amount of chances that
But
Porto had
Casillas
and
was
Benfica,
playing. There's no, you can't be like, if Casillas wasn't playing.
Calm down.
Saying.
What I'm going to say is that if you compare the amount of chances one team had and the other, Benfica clearly had way more chances. If that doesn't tell you that they were looking for the win, I don't know what will.
I'm smelling a lot of sodium chloride right now because there's a lot of salt. There's a lot of salt right now.
There was a lot more. There was a lot more at the end of the game. There was a lot more. But why?
Like, is there a bag of potato chips right next to me? I mean, this is like salt since I don't know when.
But listen, the reason why I'm so salty is because coming into a game against Porto, where Benfica usually gets dominated, they barely create any chances. You don't see anybody play for the win. I saw the exact opposite, and when I see that, to me it's a surprise. And obviously, I'm gonna get annoyed when we don't get the win, because if you have told me 2 minutes before the game started, "Are you happy with the draw?" I would have said, "Hell yeah." At the end of the game, if you ask me, "Are you happy with the draw?" I'll say, "Hell no," because what the team did was more than enough to get the win. Unfortunately, we just couldn't do it. But in the end, looking, at this a little more, calm, it's not a bad result. It never was going to be a bad result for Benfica. So it is what it is.
It wasn't a bad result. I mean, I think that I honestly think either team could have won. I thought Benfica were better, but I do think either team could have won. And I mean, this result, Benfica kind of in control of their own destiny. I mean, I think that it is. I mean, it is what it is. You've got 7 games left, right?
Mm-hmm. And we'll run through the
7 games
schedule.
left.
We'll run through the schedule as well.
So if Benfica, I mean, there's 1 point separating it, so it can still go either way. Sorry, Sam, but I really don't think Sporting have a chance at winning it this year. Maybe next, but yeah. I mean, this is gonna continue to be a fantastic season. So I'm really excited to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
There is one play
yeah.
that I don't think not really a play, but that was Jonas running into Nuno. And
we'll get on to that.
Yeah.
Calm down.
No, I'm just
I got
saying,
that covered. I got
you
that
should-
covered.
That sometimes
he's making
happens
sure.
in American sports, you know.
just making sure no one forgot.
If
Just
I
like the
forgot if I forgot about it, you could have talked about it.
I did forget about it. That's what I was saying.
I'm just going to mention one more thing in the game, or ask you guys one more thing in the game, and then we'll move on to the plays. Can we get an anonymous decision on if Jonas had a great game, or was it a good game?
Anonymous? How are we doing that?
No,
I think you mean
unanimous. Yeah.
It's
Oh, unanimous.
Obviously,
Okay.
obviously not
Anonymous. Yeah, it's not Kevin. I'm just letting you know that Jonas blah blah blah.
No, obviously I'm at unanimous. Okay. Ew. So funny.
I didn't think he had a good
Yeah.
game, honestly.
Okay.
I thought he was probably the best attacker on the pitch.
Mm.
I mean, for my 2 cents.
The best of a bad bunch.
Mm.
Yeah, the best of a bad bunch.
What about you, Kevin?
I think he was the best flopper on the pitch.
Oh my god.
No, Salvio
Ouch.
was much better, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, another question then. Who was your man of the match if you exclude Casitas? Because Casitas is unanimously
Brahimi.
Man of the match. Okay, that's a good
Brahimi,
show.
really?
That's a good show.
Brahimi ran wild.
What if you had to
Yeah.
choose a Benfica player?
I would say Ederson if I had to choose a Benfica player.
Okay.
That's tough.
I thought
No one-
Samaris was quite underrated in that game.
Thank you. Thought so too. PT as well.
So was he better than Ederson?
Probably not.
I
I
think.
mean, Ederson didn't really. I mean, Ederson had like 2 saves though. Like,
Yeah, he didn't have much work. I think it was
but
Rafa
that's
Silva.
because Benfica were in control. And I think that actually in some cases is even harder because you're not like always.
I get
the
your point.
defense
Yeah,
isn't
yeah,
always
it's
prepared.
more
You know what I mean?
difficult. Yeah, because
It's
like,
like you got to be more.
yeah,
Like you got to be more concentrated.
yeah,
you know,
like
in some
Porto
ways.
had so little chances that if he wasn't paying attention, they could have scored. Is that what you're trying to say?
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I get it.
I'll tell you what. In 2 weeks, in 2 match days, it's gonna be. I think, or I guess like, the next weekend, it's gonna be really good because you got Porto away at Braga. And,
Should be a win.
And Benfica playing Maritimo. Both
Yeah.
of those games are. So I think that those, and of course Sporting Benfica the week after, but I think those are both difficult. I think Porto personally have the tougher schedule though.
Mm-hmm.
In the next 7 days. I mean, the next 7 games they've got to play. What?
We'll get onto the schedule, but they have to
like
play a lot of.
Chaves,
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah, Chaves, Marítimo. Yeah,
that's a tough schedule.
definitely.
But yeah.
Mhm.
Benfica and Porto lose the next game. Sporting win. The comeback is on, boys. Let's go.
I hope we're not-
Okay.
I hope we're not-
He fails to realize that he almost dropped points to Aroca, and he's right here trying to talk himself into
The key
a
word
chance of
there
winning the
being
title.
almost.
Okay. All right. So
Mateus Pereira, Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
all right. So let's get on straight into the referee. First of all, I'm just gonna give my overall opinion, and then I'll let you run wild, Kevin. Okay?
Sounds good.
So I thought that he had a great game. I wouldn't have changed anything. There's a couple of plays where I think he could have gone a different way, but I'm honestly not even gonna knock him on the decision. I think obviously you can see a slight push of Maxi on Samaris on the goal, but would I disallow it? No. Do I think that
That's like what?
push? He pushed him or pulled him.
No, he
whatever.
didn't. Yeah, okay. Sorry to interrupt.
He's
It'll be my
not-
turn soon.
I'm.
I know. I'm
Did you
sorry.
even
I'm sorry
listen
to
to
cut
what
you
I?
off.
No.
Yes, I heard. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Carry on.
Okay.
Kevin
I-
Mania is running wild.
No, it's because I'm saying it could have, but would I have disallowed it? No, I would have not disallowed that goal. There's an offside call that is a mistake, but it's not his; it's the linesman. So I mean, and it happens. It's one of the difficult ones where you're looking at Jota's feet and Luizon's head. That's always difficult to call. And I also think that if he could have been more strict with Alex Telles and give him a red card on that play, I think so. But I honestly don't even care. The yellow card was more than enough for me, and I think that overall he had a great game. Missed one or two fouls, every now and then. Missed the yellow probably, but I think he had a great game. And for once, he had a good time managing the game because honestly, I'm not a big fan of Schuster because he always throws out yellows really early on in the game, and he really controlled that. I mean, you saw Felipe get the yellow because it was a penalty, and I think the second yellow card was like 70 minutes in. So I think that it was a very difficult game to manage to control because the players were all over the place. But in the end, I think he did a good job, and I'd agree with Sam that 10 out of 10. I mean, you can try and with the replays point out mistakes, but I think everybody in the end of the game would have said, without looking at anything, any replays would have said that he did a great job. Now, Kevin, you can go ahead and rant on the referee.
I should have made notes for this because there's a lot. All right.
Should have.
Yeah, I should have.
Do it
Anyway,
next time.
yeah, next time I will, because there'll be a next time when Benfica goes to Sporting. I'm sure I'll have to make some notes there.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so let me see. Where should I start with? How about we start with Jonas? Okay, so
What a player.
great player. Actually, no. Let's start with the Samadhi Tellez incident because that was first. That was right off the bat. Okay,
Yeah.
so Peter's saying that Carlos Schuster had a good match. I agree. He did have a good match. He said that.
I love how Kevin goes into like Law and Order mode whenever he's salty. He's like, I got my briefcase ready. My client is here. I'm ready to deliver justice to the Porto fan base.
I would want Kevin as mine. Yeah.
Like Rizzoli and Isles.
You wouldn't want me, Sam?
No, I would.
Oh, all right, good.
I want Kevin defending me in my lawsuit.
I'd win for you. Trust me.
Oh,
all
yeah,
right.
I bet you would. You should change the colors.
So Peter says that Carlos Schuster had a good game, and I can agree. But he said Felipe got the yellow card, rightfully so. A couple of the yellow cards were rightfully shown. What about Benfica? Any players got any yellows? I didn't think so. So yeah, that's
any yellow card deserving place besides
Yes.
the somebody's one that you're going to point out.
possible bullshit. All right, so here we go.
First of all, I don't even think that's an incident, but whatever.
Okay, now you sound like Pedro Guerra. You're the
Yeah,
Pedro
whatever.
Guerra of this podcast. If
Yeah.
anybody doesn't know who he is, he's the idiot on one of the soccer shows on TVE who doesn't make any sense at all because he said that Samadhi Tellez incident was shoulder to shoulder, and I don't know what he saw there, if he needs glasses or whatnot, but it was not shoulder to shoulder. Another thing, Samadhi swiped at Alex Tellez's face. I'm not saying it's a red, but it's worthy of a yellow. So if it's early enough to give Felipe a yellow, less than 10 minutes in for a penalty, then it's good enough to give a yellow to Samadhi about 3 minutes in for what he did. Okay, there's that. Then there's the incident with Jonas shortly after. Again, the commentator from that specific show
Oh my god.
says that
Wow.
Felipe pushed Jonas. Didn't even lay a finger on him. They
Into
both went for
Nuno?
the ball.
What do you-
No,
what do you-
no, wait, yeah. He said that Felipe pushed Jonas into Nuno, and I didn't see.
No.
I don't know what is up with him anyway. I'm just using that as an example as to
Mhm.
what he was thinking. Anyway, they both went for the ball. Felipe gets to the ball first.
Screw
Jonas,
whatever Pedro Guerra says, dude. Just talk about the play, man.
I'm just gonna
Come
ignore
on.
him because he's an
Ignore-
idiot.
Exactly.
I shouldn't even
Nobody
talk
likes
about him.
Nobody.
Yeah, he's always on
not even
BTV
Benfiquistas
talking.
like him.
I can
Not
see
even
why.
Benfiquistas like it.
What does BTV
Okay.
stand for, Kevin? Sorry.
Oh, bias TV.
PTFooty.
So they both go for the ball. Jonas running, not full speed. Could have stopped himself. Could have avoided Nuno. But what does he do?
I think he could barely annoy. Yeah, I agree. No, sorry.
So
Yeah, I
you
agree
think
that
he could have moved out of the? Okay,
No,
I thought you were
I
gonna say
think he
something
could've-
ridiculous.
No, I think he could have avoided him, but I think it's hard to totally avoid him. I think he could have not pushed him, but I also don't think that he couldn't run into him. You know, like I think he couldn't stop himself from not running into him.
Yeah,
But I
that's
do
sweet.
think that he could have stopped. You know what I mean? But still hit him. You know, I think that
Yeah.
he pushed him in the end. There you go.
Yeah, that's sweet of you, Peter, to defend Jonas, but I'll have to disagree with you there.
I'm just
Um,
saying, dude.
And I'm just telling you, dude, that if I'm gonna, for example, and I talked about this with Sam. I think it was on DM. Was it on our DM, Sam?
See.
All right. So if Sam is standing there, right, and I'm running into him, and I'm not full speed, like he's Nuno, I'm Jonas. If I'm running into Sam, I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna stick my arm out and try to either hold him
Exactly. Yeah,
or whatever.
that's exactly
And
what I
if
was
I run
trying to
into
tell
him and
you.
I push him, okay. So
That's what I
if
was
I
trying to
stick my
tell
hands
you.
out and I push him, okay.
But that's exactly what I was telling you. Like, I think that he could never avoid the contact. He probably would have still touched him. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I think he pushed him in the end, but he could never avoid the contact. That's what I told you. He probably could have put his arms out to try and stop himself, on like Nuno's shoulder or something. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But he pushed him in the end.
My favorite part of that is when after Maxi pushed Jonas in the back and Jonas
Yeah,
fell
Maxi
to the floor
yeah,
so
Maxi's-
fast.
Yeah, there should have been a yellow to Maxi as well if you guys want to talk about it. Well, we'll go on.
Yeah, and Jonas should have seen red too for that.
Red?
Jonas dived for that, definitely.
Arguably, yes, a red.
That's not.
But you could have given. You should have at least gotten a yellow because listen, if Nuno falls, Jonas is gone.
Red? Oh my god.
I
Oh
agree
my
with
God.
Kevin. That should be. That is, of course,
Zach,
it's a red card.
hold on, Zach.
I mean, look, I'm just here eating my popcorn, enjoying the show.
No,
I don't
come
wanna-
on.
I don't wanna
come
hit
on,
it
Is
up.
it salted popcorn by any chance?
Oh god, I'm so. Oh my god.
All I'm saying, you run it. You like. Not. I'm not gonna say. I don't know the word, but it's not attack. That's what I've got in my head. Collide. There we go. With a manager, which was, I believe, on purpose. That should
It
be
was
a
on
red card
purpose.
offence.
That's
Oh,
never
so
a
you
red
agree?
card. Yeah, I always
Yes,
told.
it is.
I've said it from the beginning that he could have avoided the contact. He would have still touched Nuno,
Yeah.
but in the end, he pushed them. I said,
And it should
best
be a red.
case, no.
He pushed a person that was not playing.
He wound up and
Nuno
he went
was
into
minding
him.
his own business.
No, that's. I'm sorry.
He wound up into
that's-
him.
I can't
Wow.
see that as a red. Never, and it doesn't matter who the hell it is.
If
I don't
Nuno
see it
falls,
either.
that's a red. Litu
Yeah, I agree.
Litu from Aroca when he was coaching them. I think it was a Benfica game or a
Same.
Sporting game.
Sporting game.
Barely got touched and he fell. And what happened?
Same BS. Same BS, dude.
It was a tap though. He like
It
embellished
was
it.
different. I think he actually pushed. He got pushed, but whatever. It doesn't matter. Same BS.
No,
I don't think it's a red.
He actually dove. But anyway, if Nuno falls,
I think just for my 2 cents, I think that Nuno has kind of gained a reputation in Valencia and Porto as just kind of like a tough manager who instills a defensive confidence in his teams and just a kind of a never say die attitude. I feel like his reputation would have taken a big dive if he dived, or if he fell down. I don't know. I feel like maybe some of the players would laugh instead of in the dressing room instead of paying attention to him. So and I'm not sure if it would have been a red personally. Nuno's a pretty big guy, right? I mean, I don't know if Jonas trying to keep his feet on the ground is and trying to just stand up. I don't know if that really even if he did fall down, I don't know if it merits a red because it didn't look intentional. You know what I mean?
he wound
Like,
up to go into him. And they have
In
history.
the end, I think he wound up to go into him. I agree, but I
Well,
don't think it's
maybe,
not even.
but
I don't feel like that is a.
But if it winds up to go into him, that's aggression. Whether or not that's
I
a
say
player or a
I don't
coach,
I
it's a
don't I
red.
don't I don't think that that's aggression
At least the
because
yellow.
you could see
I
that
think
several
that
times in games.
just from like a scientific um perspective, if you will, I think if Jonas wants to cause damage, if he wants to actually go like WWE SmackDown on him, the Undertaker just retired, by the way. If he wants to actually level him and send him to the hospital, I think he leads with his elbow. I mean, I can't say that I've been in a position where I tried to like level the opposing coach, but if I did, if he was like trying to get the ref to send me off or something, I would probably like lead with my elbow, or maybe
Headbutt.
like try to go for his chest and like push him with my hands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like maybe it was intentional. I mean, but looking at it, like constantly looking at it, I think that he pushes he doesn't even push his ribs, he pushes his like shoulder, which isn't that harmful. And I think he leads with his elbow. I mean, what would have been really obvious if he went like a like I mean Peter knows this, just like went like Marshawn Lynch and tried to like barrel into him, like
Yeah.
trying to get a first down, like.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
he
would.
didn't. And
Nah.
of course, I mean, American football is a lot more rough than
Yeah.
actual football. Like whenever this like a clash between like a coach and a player happens on the field, I think that it's more common in American sports. I'm not sure. I mean, I know that like you remember when Mike Tomlin like stuck out his foot and like
Oh, okay.
tried to trip Jacoby Jones.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
But so it's pretty funny when this happens with
But you don't think it's
Yeah.
it's so red. That's bottom line.
I don't think it's a red.
Okay.
No. I mean, I think Jonas may be kind of his reputation may have taken a little dive in God's little book, with from the penalty to the push, but I don't think either warrants a red personally.
Okay. Kevin, go on with your list of complaints.
Kevin,
Calm down. He's trying to fake. He's trying to figure it out.
did he mute himself or what?
No, he's just not talking. He's probably thinking.
No, I did have
Okay, there
myself
we go.
muted. Yeah, sorry about
Okay.
that. All right, I was I had it muted and I'm talking. I feel like an idiot now.
You muted your mic.
It happens to me all the time.
Oh god. Go on.
All right, hold on. I'm reading something here. I just got tweeted at by a Benfica fan, and I know she's listening. Cynthia, I'm talking to you. Let's see. Hey, take off the blinders. Okay, I love Shove. Okay, he actually wound up into Nuno, and they have history. Okay, so moving on from that. After that play, immediately right after.
Now you really sound like a lawyer. Now you sound like a lawyer on a TNT show. Like we know they have history, so
It's true. They have history from Valencia.
Even though Nuno says he had nothing to do with it, that's complete BS.
Who
I
cares?
thought that Nuno sold Jonas, right? So that
No,
is
he released him, but he says he didn't
Yeah.
release him. He says it's bullshit, but we all know he did.
right.
Right. But go on.
So Jonas, they call him the pistoleiro. So Maxi gives him a little tap in the back, acts like he gets shot in the front on his ribs.
Oh god.
Anyway, moving on from that.
He could win gold for Brazil with that diving.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
So Maxi gives a little tap to Jonas. That's a yellow, but Jonas parlays Nuno. It's nothing. Okay, so moving on.
I said, if you give a yellow for Jonas pushing Nuno, then you give a yellow to Maxi for pushing Jonas or for hitting Jonas because he had nothing to do with it. That's all I said.
Sorry, I just saw a tweet from Sam's dad.
What did he say? Oh, God.
It's about
That's all right.
Jonas.
That's all
I don't
right.
want to retweet it because it would be
Okay,
wrong.
it doesn't
Okay.
matter. Okay.
I'll send it in the group chat, Sam, so you can see it.
Okay. Okay.
Tell you that. Thank you, by the way. Anyway, so
I'm sure he's listening.
so hello to him. He's a good guy, he's smart. So anyway, then I'm just gonna go to the end of the game. Actually, let me real quick on the Maxi goal. It's like a little tug of the jersey, not enough to
To
set
disallow
somebody
it.
off.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, move on.
And he didn't even complain. So anyway,
Sorry, I just saw the tweet. I'm gonna be my mic because I can't stop
I saw the tweet too. Anyway, moving on.
so after the goal, I'm gonna go to the Rafa play. I don't think that Tellez deserved the red for that. The yellow was a right call. I think he didn't mean to hit him in the face. He didn't punch him. He put his arm across the body, and I think he was trying to grab his jersey because of watching his hand motion. So that's basically all I got. I don't want to take up too much time complaining about this. But
can we all agree that that Otavio, kind of dove in the end of the game? There was nothing on that play. And
it's
inside the
50-50.
box, you think
It's tough, but I don't even want to get into that. I would give the referee watching the game live, I would give him a 9 out of 10, but after all the replays, I'd give him like a 7.5 out of 10. Going by stuff on the replays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's basically all I have on this game.
Okay, thank God. I'm sorry, but I think it's really, really mean if we go ahead and point out referee mistakes. Right? I genuinely think this is probably one of the best refereed game Porto Benfica Porto games in the past couple of years. The one with least doubt on whatever play it is.
I agree.
So it feels unfair. It feels unfair to put the spotlight on the referee while the
I'm
players.
not.
I'm just saying.
Like I said, watching it live and at the end of the game without watching replays, like I said, I gave him a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
The 9 being no Benfica players got any yellows when they should have got some. But other than that, then going on the replays, a 7.5 to an 8.
Can we all just give props to Pizzi for? When he got his fourth yellow? Do you guys know when he got his fourth yellow?
Yeah, no, but carry on.
It was against Porto.
Okay.
You see how many games he went without getting a fifth yellow?
So if he gets the yellow the next game, then he is out of the game for Sporting.
Marítimo.
Is it Marítimo?
Yeah, it's
You gotta
Marítimo.
be careful.
Yeah, you're right.
Tough though. Tough.
All right, just give me a sec real quick. I want to count the amount.
I would get suspended for Morenche. That's probably the weakest team. Or
yeah, but he can't. He didn't get a yellow against Porto, so.
Yeah, good for him. Well, Pakas is. I mean, yeah.
Hold on. Just give me a sec. I just want to see how many games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
This has been how many games he hasn't
9,
gotten the fifth yellow,
10.
right?
Yep, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 games. He's got 17 games without getting a 50 yellow. That's crazy. All right, but let's get on to the schedule here, and this is what it's more interesting to talk about now. Obviously, we're gonna start the speculation here, and on this next week, Porto are going to play Belenenses, right? Yeah, at home.
Yes.
And Benfica away to Moreirense. Kevin, I think this one's a sleeper in the terms of it could be a trap game. Do you agree with me or?
It could be, but I don't think so. I honestly think Benfica is going to lose points between the next 3 games. I honestly think they're going to get a draw at Moreirense. I think so, and the Porto's going to take first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Okay.
Could be a trap game, but I don't think so.
Okay, you don't think so. All right, but I expect Benfica to beat Moreirense easily, difficult. I don't care. Just win the game. Then we are on to Benfica Marítimo and Braga Porto. It's gonna be a tough game for Benfica, but again, they're at home. So, they should get the win given they work out well. Kevin, are you worried about this Braga game? Because I'm honestly, I don't think Porto drop any points there.
That could be a trap game. Braga's going through some rough times right now, but I don't think that
Mhm.
matters because it's going to be a completely different game. They're both from the north, so it's kind of like a rivalry game. But I honestly think we're going to have a harder time at Chaves than at Braga, basically.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
I'm hoping that we can win the league, man. I mean, this is really closest race with Porto involved
Yep.
in a long time.
Yeah. By the way, I do want to point out, you remember the message that I sent you, the girl? So she met up with Wilson Eduardo today by mistake, and she told him to score against Porto. So if he scores, you know who's guilty. You have her Twitter. So,
Yeah, and I'll block her.
Why are you so mean, bro? Come on.
She's putting a hex.
Yeah.
She said for him to score against Porto, and then he started to laugh and asked if she was a Benfica fan. She said, "Duh." Obviously, it's quite fun. It must have been quite funny. Wish I was there to watch it. Anyway, now we have the big one with Sporting Benfica and Porto Feirense. I mean, Kevin, Porto Feirense.
Oh, should be a blowout. We went there, we won what, 4 or 5? I don't really recall, but
Yeah.
I think it was 4-1 or 4-0, something like that. So, no game is an easy win, but I think that out of the remaining schedule, that is going to be an easy win.
Yeah, on one of the easiest, but it still could be difficult. I mean, but I really, unless Porto play like a completely different side, I don't see them losing this one, or tying, whatever. But we got Sporting Benfica, and this is the one where all Porto fans are just putting their hopes on. But I'm not betting against Benfica now. But Sam, what are your thoughts going into this game? If both teams win out the previous games, do you think you have the edge? Does Benfica have the edge? And how, as a fan, are you feeling about this game? Are you worried? Are you stressed?
He's speechless.
No, it's just funny because according to him, if Sporting want to win the league, they gotta
Sorry,
be Benfica.
my
so
was muted. I did a Kevin.
I just don't think. Yeah.
Everybody did Kevin.
Just give up, man. Just plan for next season. I admire it though. Honestly, I mean, Sporting are having one of the worst, just most catastrophic seasons. Honestly,
Ooh,
considering
we've had worse. So.
I know, but considering the elections, considering everything, considering that you're 8 points behind with like 7 games left. I mean, Barcelona are like 4 points behind with like 8 games left. And I don't even think we should care about the league. I think we should just focus on the Champions League. But I admire it.
But anyway, like I asked you, are you
yeah.
Are you worried because are you nervous because according to you, this is one of the games where you must win if you still want to win the league?
Yeah, and like I've said it to all of you that it's a far-fetched dream, but if it's mathematically possible, then it is possible. All I'm saying is that if we beat Benfica somehow lose again, which is unlikely. They need to wait. So 8 points behind. So maybe lose 3 times or lose and draw twice, whatever.
But how are your feelings going into the game? If both teams win, are you going confident into this game, or are you going nervous still?
If both teams win, I honestly don't really care. Like, what is there to care about? Once Sporting beat Benfica at the end of the day, I'm not going to feel nervous going into that game because nothing to play for, really. Why would I?
Because it's a rivalry game. I mean, I want to be Benfica,
but I wouldn't feel nervous.
Straight up nervous. I'll be nervous. Okay, I guess you're kind of not stressed out, but I get your point.
I get your point as well, but it's just that if we're not playing for the league, then as much as I don't like Benfica, I'm not just like, I hope we win, so Porto win the title. I just say I hope we win because I don't like Benfica and I want to beat them. So there you go.
Okay. All right, but are you confident that Sporting can win this game, or are you nervous about the game? I mean,
I'm
not
not.
nervous in the type
Yeah,
that you
I
know.
get what you mean. Yeah, I'm not
Okay.
confident, but I'm not. I think is the word you're trying to put in there. But so
Yeah.
I could see it being another draw. Honestly, I'm not gonna 1-1 draw. Let's see if
Okay.
I get that
Okay.
right.
Okay. Then we have a very 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 big game. Actually, thinking about it, we have two very big games. We got Chaves playing Porto and Braga with Sporting. That's gonna be an interesting one. But we got Chaves playing Porto. Chaves only lost to Benfica at home. They beaten everybody else or tied everybody else. They managed to beat Sporting and Porto for the Taça at home. Kevin,
Hmm.
this one's a biggie.
That's the toughest game we have on the schedule besides Maritimo. Those two games in a row, especially being away,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be tough. But I have confidence. I think that we'll end up winning the two games. Um, I honestly think that Porto's going to probably win the league. I know it's wishful thinking, and it's only because I'm a Porto
It's
fan.
yeah,
I think we'll
and
have a
you
full
know
point advantage
we're
by the end of
speculating.
the.
We're
Yeah,
speculating a lot, so it's
yeah.
okay for you to say that.
It's what I wish happens, and I think we'll probably
Exactly.
win by like 4 points or something like that.
Hmm.
Maybe even two.
All right, but Benfica play out Estoril, and if they play a strong team, Coughley, Vitória, Cough, they should get the win. Week 32, like you've said, Marítimo Porto, and we got where's Benfica? Rio Ave Benfica.
That's tough.
So two tough games for both teams.
Mhm.
Marítimo, I think they're unbeaten at home. Drew Sporting beat Benfica. How you feeling about that game as well? So nervous as much as Chaves?
Yeah, I mean they're both really tough. Look at what Maritimo did at Braga. I mean
Mm-hmm.
that's in itself
Crazy.
is a bit scary,
Yeah.
honestly. But I think that we should be fine. I think that if anything, if we do drop points in any of those
That's
games,
almost
it'll be
a draw.
Chaves. Well,
Mm-hmm.
Maritimo, I think
I
we'll win at
think
Maritimo. I
the
think
most
Chaves is going
most
to be
you
the
can
tough
get.
game.
Okay. Then we,
I think Shavs are typically. I mean, Maritimo are ahead of Shavs right now, right?
mm-hmm. Oh, let me
Yeah,
check. I'll double
yeah, they're in
check.
sixth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chaves eighth.
Yeah. So I think Shavs though. I think they've been more impressive, and I think it'll be tougher.
Mm-hmm. Then we got Porto Passeira. So, I mean, that should be a win. And we got Benfica Guimarães. And in my opinion, the third and I don't want to say final because of the game that goes the week after that, but I would say the almost final obstacle for Benfica to win the league. And week 34, we got, you know, Boa Vista Benfica, which is never going to be easy. And where's Porto? Well, Moreira Porto. So, I mean, it shouldn't be as difficult for Porto, but you know it can go either way. Tough games, tough games. So to signal some out, we got Braga Porto, Sporting Benfica, Chaves Porto, um, as well as Rio Ave Benfica, Marit, Benfica Guimarães, um, Marítimo Porto, and Boa Vista Benfica. So it's always going to be difficult. We'll see what ends up happening. Obviously, I want to be champion. Kevin wants to be champion. So we'll see what ends up.
Sam wants to be champion.
Maybe this is a time where if I was next to him, I'd tap his back and say, "Maybe next year, buddy." All right. So I don't think you got any questions. So Kevin, you can go ahead and do your roundup unless you want me to do it.
Nah, you can do the roundup. I didn't even get it ready. Screw it.
Okay,
I'm just
so I'll do it.
I'm just too nervous with the league. I don't even want to even think about the rundown. Second,
All right.
skin the league, it doesn't
So-
even matter to me anymore.
So Estoril Boa Vista 0-0, Moreirense Tondela 1-1, Belenenses Braga 1-2. Wait, This is no, sorry, this is the wrong week, people.
Jesus. Leave it to
Peterson.
Peterson.
Chaves,
Jinx.
Chaves Passeira 1-0, Nacional Guimarães 1-2, Tondela Estoril 0-2, Boa Vista Rio Ave 0-1, Benfica Porto 1-1, Belenenses Feirense 1-2, Vitória Setúbal 2-0 Moreirense, Arouca Sporting 1-2, Braga Marítimo 3-3. Obviously, Benfica first, 65 points. Porto second, 64. Sporting third, 57. Guimarães fourth, 54. 47. Jesus Christ, I'm completely done. And Braga fifth with 47. Then we got bottom two is Nacional and Tondela with 17 points. And honorable mention to Chaves at 8th with 36. On the Segunda Liga, Ledman Liga Pro, we got Portimonense first with 70 points, Aves second with 64, Varzim third with 55, União da Madeira 53, and Santa Clara 51. Relegation playoff, Vizela and Famalicão 41 and 40 points. Leixões, Faf, Friamundo and Olhanense are all the bottom four. And Leixões, Faf, and Friamundo all have 35 points, while Olhanense has 21. Kevin, how many minutes? How many minutes was the episode?
About an hour and hold on, let me check my timer. An hour and about 5 or 6 minutes.
Okay, so people, this is what we'll try to do. We're listening to your suggestions. I just want to quickly look up the poll that I put up with Julio Cesar, and I want to get the final results in. And we'll finish this off. I forgot about that. Julio Cesar. Yo, really quickly, Zach, do you think that Julio Cesar can be considered a legend?
Speechless.
I mean, I kind of feel like he was maybe a poor man's Dita, if that's not.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I mean, just kind of a small, kind of a short. No, I mean, kind of a short peak. You know, I give it like 2 years before Ederson overtakes him. Honestly, I think.
But would you consider him a legend of what we did with Inter, or not? Is he a club legend, and that's it? Or
I mean, yeah, I mean, especially considering the Inter of today, I think a lot of people would consider him a club legend. But at the same time, he was there for 7 years. I'm not sure if he was how much better he was than Handanovic, because Handanovic is great, for example.
Okay.
At Inter. So I think looking back at that Inter team that won so much, I consider of the players that I consider legends, I would go Eto'o, of course, Zlatan.
Lucio,
I'm not sure if I'd consider Schneider legend. I would definitely say probably Zanetti and Mike Cohen.
Mm-hmm.
But then you got players like Cambiaso and Schneider and like Samuel, like great players. Were they legends? You know?
Mm-hmm. Okay, I get your point. Okay, yeah, people are divided. No, exactly the point, because it's exactly what you guys were saying. It's a great team. You guys said it's a great team. I personally, if you want to go with my Benfica bias, I honestly think that he set the standard. He set the standard to some goalkeepers. I think he did. I truly did. And I also talked to some other friends, Arsenal fans in this case. This one's an Arsenal fan, and he did agree with me that you can't consider him a legend because what he did with Inter, especially in 2010, set the standard for a lot of goalkeepers. But the poll result was 53% yes, 47% no. 442 people voted. Thank you everybody that voted. Thank you everybody that watched. Missed questions. We need to get some questions in, people, but that's it. We cut down on the time. Want to thank everybody for coming on. Thank you for listening, and we'll see y'all next week.
Good night, everybody.
The dream is alive, boys.
Eu quero Porto campeão.
Dream is alive.